How does one achieve stream entry? What's the formula? What are the things that a practitioner needs to do to achieve this level? So according to the Theravada teaching in the Nikaya Sutra, the first thing that the practitioner needs to do to achieve that level is to overcome the 3 fetters. And the first fetter is called self-view, 身见, Pengking. Bound by this fetter, we think that we ourselves are the point upon which all ends of the world are come, and that our personal individual existence is irreducible and ultimate. With the self-view, we see that we are the center of the universe. And that's where the attachment continues to drown us. So by breaking this, we are floating up one level. Imagine you being drowned in water because you're being tied to the depth of the water. But when you remove the tie, you are now up closer to liberation. So sometimes we see something greater than ourselves, but usually we believe in ourselves in this narrow, limited, egoistic sense as identified with the body and with the lower mind, the lower consciousness, the egoistic, the animalistic consciousness that we have, that we just react emotionally. That's the lower mind. The higher conscious mind is when you don't react emotionally and you don't get fooled by your perception through your senses. When you remove this self-view, you have this higher vision, and you are no longer being bound by this egoistic drive. And this has to be broken before we can enter the stream. This is a very good way of measuring how much we have progressed. How important do we see ourselves? If we see ourselves being very important, then we are not any closer to the stream, this irreversibility. If we continue to see in terms of me, myself, and I, then clearly we haven't developed much in the way of insight, wisdom. So as insight develops, we make a transition from the conditioned to the unconditioned, loosening the ties or fetters that bind us to the conditioned, to this cycle of life and death, to suffering, fear, and dissatisfaction. The second fetter to break is called doubt, not in the sense of objective, cool, critical inquiry, but a soul corroding unease that won't settle down in anything, that is full of fears and whimsicalities, that won't be satisfied, that doesn't want to know and shies away from knowing, that won't try to find out, and then complains that it doesn't know. When you read sutras and you have doubts, it's not what is being taught here. When you have critical thinking that you want to find out about something, that is healthy doubt because it helps to clear the mind. But this doubt here is that you're not willing to make commitment. And some people feel very comfortable living with doubt. Why? Well, because in this way, they have an excuse not to ever make a decision, not to make a commitment. By having doubt, they have that reservation. They say, I don't need to make a commitment because I still have doubt. So this doubt here does not allow you to advance, but it prohibits you from making progress. And therefore, you can not get close to the stream. The third feather is called dependence on moral religious rules as ends in themselves. If we are too moral, we cannot become enlightened. Which is not to say, of course, that if we are immoral, we gain enlightenment more easily. But if we think a lot about ourselves on account of our being good, holy and pure, then we are nowhere near the stream. The practice becomes mechanical and meaningless. Then you come to the Dharma assembly, you're very diligent, but it becomes mechanical because you don't understand the meaning of Dharma assembly. So you're just going through the motion. Of course, this is not to say that moral rules and religious observances are bad, but they should be means to an end, not ends in themselves. Why is non-regression so important? 不退转, 不推进. So we see that even if we observe the religious rules diligently, there's no guarantee that we can achieve point of no return. And so this is a good reminder that there is no safe way of practicing the Dharma. You cannot just blindly practice the Dharma and hope that you continue to advance. So this is what the third feather here is telling us, that if we have too much dependence on moral and religious rules, and we take them as ends in themselves, then there's no guarantee that we will advance. So it is dangerous in the sense that there is the possibility of practicing the precepts wrongly. Again, even if we observe the rules and put in diligent effort, there is a good chance that we are practicing wrongly. So to ask for a completely safe practice is to ask for a practice in which attitude doesn't matter. A practice which is always sure to be the right thing to do. But this is impossible. You cannot just blindly go through the motion and expect that you arrive at the destination. You're just taking your chances. Where there is a possibility of skillfulness, there is also a possibility of unskillfulness. So until such time as one is a stream entrant, there's always a danger of falling back. So that's why obtaining this non-regression, 不退转, 不推进, is so important, because until you achieve that point, there is always the possibility, the danger of you sliding back. So this is not kind of set and forget, but one will have to use wisdom to stay away from unskillfulness and to not be in the grip of the feathers. There are so many reasons to do it wrong. You can do it wrong by attending the puja, which is a Dharma assembly, 法会, 法会. Because if you do it in the unskillful state of mind, then that is wrong. Or you can read a Buddhist book for the wrong reason, and you can adopt a wrong attitude towards one's meditation practice, thinking that it makes one better than other people. It will increase your arrogance. So in short, it is possible to be a Buddhist for entirely the wrong reasons. Until we reach the state of stream entrance, the state of irreversibility, there's a possibility that we can practice Buddhism for the wrong reasons.